So I actually went and paid attention to one of these shows, you know, the Ustream videos, where it's a live stream show that they're doing from somewhere. Anyway, I've been paying attention to a few of these so-called end-time prophets, which they're based on end-time prophecy. And they don't, I'm sorry, this one in particular, and I'm not going to call no names, because somebody told me the other day it was wrong for me to out people like this, so I'm not going to out nobody like this. We had a discussion, and I agreed with what the person said. He said, don't, you know, you shouldn't shoot at that person, you know, but by name, okay, let people do their own research. So you can go and search end time prophecy, and you can go through them all if you want to. There's a bunch of them, but you go into them with a clear head. Don't go into them and believe everything they say. Okay. The thing that keyed me up on this one, which it really had me laughing to myself a little bit, was this one here. They boast, or he don't boast. I don't think he actually does the boasting, but I've heard him say he's proud that he's got this many followers and this many, you know. So he ain't boasting, but he's happy that he's got it. So it's kind of, yeah, a little bit of a boast of having so many followers. Well, the way the Ustream set up, or the Ustream live stream set up, was you have his video going, and underneath it there's a chat board, and there's people in there. And yes, there was, when I clocked out, there was 1,223 people watching this video. So I'm like, pretty good. But I watched the chatter that was going on underneath while he was doing his show, and while this man was heavy deep in his preaching, these cats were chatting about anything but his preaching. There was a few of them in there talking, yeah, go preacher, preach it, say what, amen, you know, stuff like that. But there was people, hey Tim, hey Barbara, and they're just steadily how are you doing? I'm not fine. So while they're having this conversation, they're not paying attention to anything this cat's saying. It was the equivalent of going to church and somebody playing chess in the audience out there on the pews. Okay, it's basically, that's what it's like. It's like somebody sitting out there with their cell phone, okay, and chatting on their cell phone at church. So this guy, he's trying to preach, and his followers, his dedicated followers, were talking about everything but what he was. So you can have all the people on your channel that you want, but if they're not in touch with what you're saying, I mean, you're not doing a whole lot of good there. I mean, not with them, because I bet you if you had a test afterwards about what he said, now one of them could pass it. I'd probably do a better job at what he said than what half his, they claim to be dedicated followers. So that's the point. That was the point I was making about that. It was just funny how many of his so-called followers ain't really following. They're just there because they like the chat board, or some of the people, I reckon. I don't know. It's like people that go to church to meet girls. Okay, you're wrong. Okay. Which brought me up with something else, and I know this ain't got nothing to do with nothing, but Christian Mingle, really? You don't trust that God can help you? You got to go online. A Christian Mingle. I'm sorry, that's a funny thing to me. Okay. Another thing that had me laughing today was I heard a commercial, and this ain't got nothing to do with none of it. But they got that new Nook. It's e-reader by Nook, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, a Nook e-reader. I've heard of a palm reader and a mind reader, but I've never heard of a Nook e-reader. So what the hell? Anyway, y'all, this is Pimple. Peace.